Good morning, everybody. In this video, we will discuss few basic concepts of Microsoft Excel. So before starting, let us recall some of the features of Microsoft Excel. So you all know the columns are named with letters and the rows are named with numbers, and uh, the box where a column and a row meet is called as a cell, and each cell will have a unique name with both the name of the row and the column. That is, this cell is B4. If I select any other cell, this cell is L8, and this box will show you the name of the cell. Okay, now next, if you want to write numbers in a sequence in Excel, you don't need to like type the whole sequence. You can type the first two numbers, and then using the box type cursor, the cursor that you can see here is the box type cursor. You highlight the cells that you have the numbers, and then you go to the corner and you can see the cursor now changes into a plus sign. You have to click and drag using this cursor so that it replicates or it continues the pattern or sequence that we have started with. So when I leave my click, you can see that the continuation of the numbers have been replicated here. Now, if you want any other pattern, for example, 2, 4. So if I want the continuation of this sequence or this pattern, again I can go with the same procedure. I just click and drag and highlight both these cells, and I go to the corner and I click and drag, and you can see that the numbers, or this is the two stable, isn't it? So the numbers have continued with the sequence that we started with. Now I will show you how to do simple calculation using formulae. Now for example, if I have a sequence here, um, maybe the same sequence 1 2 3, so I'm just highlighting these two, and okay, like that, and then I'm clicking and dragging. So I have like two columns with numbers, or you can say if you want some random numbers, I'm just trying to change few of the numbers here. Okay, because I don't want to be specific that both the columns are looking same. So here my aim is to multiply these two columns. For example, 1 into 1, 2 into 22, 3 into 3, that way. So how do? You write in a simple formula, and every formula will start with an equal to sign. So here I will press equal to, and I will never or I don't prefer to write the name of the cell. Instead, I can just go and click on the cell whichever I need the operation to be done. So I will click on the first cell, and then I will put my operator. That is, now here I need the multiplication sign, so that is a star or asterisk sign, and then I will go and click on the next cell which I want it to be multiplied with. So it is B2. So never write the name of the cell, because you may make mistakes. It is more error prone when you type it. It's better you go and click on the cells, and then when you enter, you get the answer. That is 1 into 1 is 1. Now you don't need to write the formulae again and again if you want to do the same formulae in the cells below. So what you need to do is, again you go click on the cell and then go to the corner, and then you click and drag, and the formulae will be replicated. So you can see the answers are here in this column, and if you want to have a look if they are correct, you can just go and check. Here in the formula bar you can see A5 into B5, so that means it is A5 into B5 and it is correct, and you can even verify it with your calculator. In case you want to see the formulae for the whole column, you can go to the formulas bar, and then you can click on show formulas, and then you can see all the formulae listed here. Now what you can notice here is what we wrote is just A2 into B2, but then when we replicated, A2 became A3, B2 became B3, and then in the next cell it became A4 and then B4. So there is a pattern that is like A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7 and so on. Similarly B2, B3, B4, B5, B6 and so on. So here what is happening is they are related to the one before, or the formula in one cell is related to the formula that was in the cell before it or the cell above it, and this type of referencing is called as relative relative reference. So relative reference is when the formula in in the next cell is related to the formula in the cell before. That means A2 becomes A3, then A4, then A5, etc. So this is how relative reference works. Now if I don't want to see the formula, I can just click on the same button and then the formula will vanish off. Now, for example, I need to do multiplication with exactly one single number. For example, I want to do a multiplication with 2. I have written in this box with the border that the number 2, and I want to multiply this column with this number 2. So how do I do that? I write the formula in the usual way as equal to, I put the or I click the cell here. So this cell is H2. So when I click it, it will come automatically. And then I will put my multiplication sign and then I will click on this cell which has the number 2. Actually, I can write this 2 anywhere in my Excel sheet. That doesn't matter. But then here I have written it in this box. Now, as I already explained about relative reference, if I press enter and if I click and drag, the next cell will have the formula H3 into E3. So here we don't want H3 into E3 because in E3 there is no number. Instead, we want it as H3 into E2 itself. We want E2 in all the cells here, isn't it? So in that case, we have to put a dollar sign before E and before 2. Now let's see how it will work. You got the answer for the first one as we have given the formula. You can see H2 into $E $2. Now when I click and drag, that is the usual way when I replicate it, you can see all the cells are having the multiplication or all each number is multiplied by this number 2. You can have a look at the formula. Here it is H3 into E2. I will show you the formula here so you can understand it better. So you can see here how it has changed. H2 is the same as H2 is not the same. H2 becomes H3, H3 becomes H4, H4 becomes H5. Here the relative reference is working, but in case of E2, since we have put the dollar sign, it remains as constant E2 itself. That means E2 is the number 2. It remains the same number 2. Now this type of referencing is called as absolute referencing. That is, the numbers will not change, or when you replicate, the cell will remain the same. Here when we replicated, E2 did not become E3 in the next cell. So I hope you understood the difference between relative referencing and absolute referencing. So in your past papers they can ask you here what type of referencing did you use while uh, creating a two table in this manner. So here our answer is we are using both relative and absolute reference, because with the cell H2 or for this cell, this column we are using, or for the first digit we are using relative referencing, and for the second digit we are using absolute referencing. I hope you understood the difference between relative referencing and absolute referencing. The next content will be continued in the next video. Thank you.